Hare Krishna and welcome to this second video on Bhagavad-gita, verse 7, chapter 4. And before we come to sentence 2, I'd like to add a few things about the previous sentence here. And that is simply that this word here, Bhagavan, I forgot to come to the main point here, and that was that the expression Sri Bhagavan Uvacha as an introduction to a verse isn't actually super clear, because, and the reason is that Bhagavan could mean any number of things. Could mean some important person, some demigod, some deity other than Krishna. So for our taste, since the project is to try to make everything as clear as possible and not just make things beautiful sound, or like a beautiful verse which may sound very nice, but we want clarity, we want precision, we want to get the exact idea of what we're dealing with, and to do that I would prefer if we composed it like this, that we simply said Krishna here, Krishna, and we of course have nominative here, so Krishna, so Sri Krishna Uvacha. So that would then, that was my main point I wanted to come to. All right, so now let's go to sentence number 2. Like that. And the sentence 2 is Aham Atma Nam Srijati. No, and it's not Srijati. What I'm saying, it's not third person singular. It's first person singular. Srijami, like that. All right, so there we have it. Aham Atmanam Srijami. And this is the verb, of course, and as we said before, I create, I manifest. And we note that, of course, as in all Sanskrit verbs, we have an implicit subject here. And we have I create. So then the question is, what does aham over here, what does it do here? Aham is a pronoun, of course. I. Why do we need an extra pronoun? If you already had the verb with an implicit I, why do we have to have an explicit pronoun to add to that? And one answer might be that, well, Sri Vyasadeva, he was well, he didn't have imagination enough to create full sentences so that they would correspond to the particular verse meter that he was using. So he just added another hum to fill it out, so that the rhythm should be complete in between. It should be the same from verse to verse. So he got all his syllables that way. But of course, such an explanation might not be the whole truth, and I would rather say that such a simple explanation is highly unlikely, and I would instead propose that this extra supplied I is a very conscious thing, and the reason for supplying it is that Vyasadeva wanted to emphasize that it's not just I create, but it's I who creates, as opposed to being someone else. And also, so it's not I, it's not you, it's not him, it's not them, but I. So you can understand it as an emphasis, like like in terms of a person which person, I, not you, not them. But then you also can understand it as an emphasis in terms of spiritual and material, because the underlying idea in this whole creating thing is that Krishna is a spiritual person. That's the whole point. So Krishna, unlike anyone else in this material world, he's the one who's actually creating something, because everyone else is just taking something that is already existing and modifying it to some extent. But Krishna is the original creator. So you could think of it like that also. Now the question is, okay, so then we have this as an explicit subject, in addition to the implicit subject we have in the verb over here. And what is this then? Atmanam. Well, I say it's an object. And so we can understand this by noting the stem form. Atman is the stem, the lookup word in a dictionary. And it means something like self or soul or something like that. And if we take a few examples here. Atma is nominative singular, and Atmanam is accusative singular. So we see here that the accusative singular form is the one that is up here in this sentence. So the whole thing is that the Atman here has the form of Atmanam because it is an object of the verb here. So the verb is controlling the object and forces it to become accusative. And the meaning here is something like myself. I create myself. I manifest myself. And we should understand this as the idea that Krishna is a spiritual person and who is not otherwise visible to the naked eye here in this material world. So no one can see Krishna's original form, the blue-eyed boy with the flute. No one can see that form in the material world unless Krishna creates himself or manifests himself. So this is the idea then. I create myself. I manifest myself. And in a prior verse, if it's number 5 or 6 or something like that, he says, this very important word here, Maya. And this is the instrumental singular of the word Maya. And so this means then by Maya, can say by Maya, which in turn means by Krishna's internal energy. So he has this power to make himself visible also in the material realm. So Maya is illusion, and that illusion is Krishna's internal energy. So I create myself with the power of Maya. So that's sentence number 2. And see you in sentence number 3. Hare Krishna.